3.9. I am your host, Josh. I'm Developer Communications. I have with me here Jamie.
Hello.
Who is a feature designer.
Yeah.
And we have Paul.
Hello.
Paul is designer.
We've changed the screen now so it's in front of us. So instead of staring off into space, we'll be staring down. It's going to be much better.
There we go.
There used to be a fourth wall for this show, you know?
Yeah.
We used to have one. Every time you come on, it's like you bring a sledgehammer with you and you break down the fourth wall.
I find it refreshing.
So what do you do, Jamie, for those of you who've never seen you before?
I design features.
Oh, I knew he was going to say
time.
that.
So I... when there's a new feature, like for example one of the things that comes up on the thing that I nearly said then, what did we do last time? What did we do last patch that I could say that I did?
Oh, MVP.
Yeah, sure. So the MVP screen, that was like a feature, so I designed that. I designed things like that, basically big, huge features that go into the game as a package.
Okay. And Paul, what do you do?
I work on several different aspects. I work on balance, I do a lot of reviewing, I work on matchmaking systems, I work on live ops, metrics, several supporting systems.
That sounds good. Let's not go into what I do, because that is a deep, dark secret that I do.
Mostly dark.
Mostly dark.
I probably find this more like a list with very few things on it.
Oh! It's there may be a few
Hello
things,
everybody.
but build the game, and that's one of the things on the list, and be happy, and
Okay.
it's a tough list. So, firstly we're going to talk about the news, because things happen every 2 weeks, and this is our chance to talk about them. In particular, I want to talk about the Dev newsletter. So, I'm sure you guys have read the Dev newsletter many times. In fact, I know you have, because you helped me write it. You helped us write it, the team. So we spoke about improvements coming to the late game. So leaderboards and tier 10 ability swapping. And people have been a little bit wanting some more details about those.
Yeah.
We won't talk about leaderboards just yet, because it's in the next patch. So we'll be talking about it when we talk about the next patch. But is there anything more you'd want to say about tier 10 ability swapping? Currently all we've really said is we want to do it.
Okay.
So any tiny more tease of an elaboration?
I mean, you tell me. You're the one who tells me what I'm allowed to say and not say.
Welcome.
Things are hotting up in here.
Yes.
Okay, I'll be Jamie. So the tier 10 ability system.
Well, ask me questions I'm allowed to answer.
Okay.
And I will
Okay.
answer.
Let me think.
Can we read?
So what kind of abilities are we looking at to swap out?
Unit abilities.
Okay.
So this is limited to unit abilities. There's no commander abilities. You can't swap those.
Are we going to see pikes with focused fire, or is it?
No. So there is a limited selection.
Okay.
You'll only get abilities that make sense for your unit to have.
And will this only be tier 10?
Yeah. To start with.
But if it's
we may expand it in future.
Yep. Well done. You passed my test.
Good thing. Test on a live stream.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
What do you mean? We did like 3 hours of run-throughs before this.
No, we didn't.
Professionalism.
We literally showed up here 5 minutes ago. And you were still talking to someone else on your machine while I had to come and get you.
Can we do this
Anyway,
later?
the one thing I did really want to talk about, and it's something that myself and Paul were quite involved with, was the post-mortem. I don't know how much of that... post-mortem of the hotfix 3.8. So what we described there was kind of a bit of a transparent thing that we've never really done before, is actually give a look into what goes on at the studio. And specifically in that instance, it was what goes on in the studio when something breaks and we have to fix it very quickly. And people seem to enjoy it, found it quite interesting. So maybe we'll look into doing some more of that kind of stuff in the future. I know there's some ideas for some dev newsletters with some really cool stuff.
I strongly don't want to be doing any more post-mortems in the future.
Yeah.
if we get to the idea is that we're trying to improve in the long term, so we don't get to have to live hotfix. But yeah,
I think that things will likely go wrong at some point in the next 2-3 million years, and we'll have our post-mortems for those when they pop up. And
we have definitely improved the reaction time and the process pipeline of going about doing live hotfixes. So,
but it's what I found really interesting about it is, and I really recommend giving it a read if you're watching this and you haven't. But it's all about kind of the flow, the process that we went through. So the community feeding back, and then us looking at that community feedback, working it out, immediately, getting different people on it, working out different ways that the bug could have occurred, finding that and then transferring that knowledge onto someone else who did their fix, and then transferring that and all the checks. And it's just a really cool way that, I guess we spoke about this months ago, how we said that we've been streamlining, we've been optimizing how we get this flow of information between teams.
Yep.
And this was a really good chance for us to actually prove that it works, and how within 24 hours we can get a fix out for a problem that, 24 hours before didn't even know existed.
So I remember the moment I saw Josh walk on the room, absolute utter panic and terror on his face. Players are reporting this has happened.
No, I remember.
Is this supposed to happen?
I opened the
no,
door.
That's not. Oh no! And then like 5 minutes later, 3 more people are reporting this has happened.
I remember I opened the door. I was like, "Anvil isn't turning off. Anvil isn't turning off." Like.
Yeah, thank you for that feedback. A lot of the times, especially on issues like this, we have automatic reporting on crashes and a lot of critical issues. But some of these are not like this is something that's not normally picked up upon. So thank you for your feedback again. That was really good, and all the live replays and whatnot that we got.
Yeah, and what was actually really great to see from my end was people who found the bug weren't thinking, "Oh, I can exploit this." They were thinking, "How can we best find a way to convey this information to help the developers fix it as soon as possible?" And it just kind of shows what a great community we have.
Yep.
So thank you everyone who helped us out with that. If you didn't get a chance to help us out, don't worry. There may be opportunities in the future where things break that you'll have your chance to help us out there. So let me quickly check on the Twitch chat. People seem to be talking about dogs throwing pikes.
Dogs throwing pikes.
And those two things were mixed.
Okay.
Looks like they're just kind of chatting between themselves at the
Alright,
moment.
I guess we're done then. We'll go home.
I won't say that. Let's see what's up. So next up we
That's
had.
good.
I did promise on Reddit that I'd give someone a shout out, so I thought I'd give them a shout out.
Okay.
Hi mom, hi dad.
Hi,
Oh
Mom.
wait, sorry.
Lord Marula. I saw their art on Reddit, and I'm sure you guys have
There's
seen
an
it
L
too.
in there, mate.
Lord Marula,
There you go.
undermining me.
You want to shout out
respect
the guy
my
and you don't
authority.
even say his name.
He
mate.
will change his name to what I say it to.
Leave out
No man
alphabets
is a leader who
his name.
says respect my authority.
Yeah. Someone who says I am king is no king.
So I don't know if you guys have seen these pictures. I don't know if you've seen
Is
them,
that the,
but you're going to
the
see
Vision
them.
Tower one?
No, not that
No,
one.
different one,
Let's
okay.
bring up picture number 1, which was his idea for marine hoplites and Sicilian heavy hoplites with swords, which I thought were pretty cool. They look quite similar to the idea for
Is it a
gameplay
hoplite if they
wise.
don't have a sword? And if they don't have a spear?
Ooh.
Yes, they
Ooh.
had swords, but their swords were only like
Yeah,
4 to
they
6.
had
I
swords,
think if
but-
Will heard our discussion right now, he would
Yeah.
probably execute us.
He just walk in and be like, no, you're wrong, and just get on with it.
Just start like.
And okay, let's say Marines and Sicilian heavy Marines
There we go.
with
Yeah.
swords.
Yeah, that'll do.
I really like the kind of arrows and the tattered cloth. We also had Athenian Ekdromos. There we go.
Oh.
I'm seeing if anyone's corrected us in the chat to see if you can have hoplites without spears. Looks pretty cool. We had Thracian Peltas, which is number 3. There we go. So there's Thracian Peltas.
So yes,
We have
one,
something quite similar
and
to
then
them.
2, and after that does indeed come 3. Producer wasn't happy about
No,
that. I was making fun of Josh, but apparently
Yep.
producer took that the wrong way.
And the Macedonians. There we go. The Macedonian Royal Hippotist, which looks pretty cool. Quite dominant with his shield. So yeah, I thought that was some really cool art, and we always appreciate seeing cool art about our game. I remember actually when we were in Gamescom seeing the cosplayers as well. That was really cool.
Yes.
I see how it is.
Wow.
What happened?
He
Nothing.
changed the image back and just like left it over me.
Got him out of the picture.
You shouldn't, like, if it would advise, don't make fun of your producer. Bad things happen.
So
Making fun of your chef who's making food.
I made some questions in chat. Can you have hoplites without hoplons?
Oh boy.
Can I have hoplites with arrows stuck in shields?
Yeah.
Yeah,
why
just get
Just
someone
get
to shoot
shot.
at you, right?
Yeah, just get shot. Just play some arena.
How can you butcher pronouncing Macedonians, 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 whatever it is? One of those 3. If you're from Macedonia, I can only apologise for my pronunciation. Is Macedonia still a place? Macedonia?
I can choose not to address that potentially politically charged question.
I think that's a wise idea. Let's move on to patch 3.9 then.
Yeah, sure.
So the first thing we're going to announce is something that I already announced, and I was uncertain when I announced it because I wasn't sure which version it was going into, and it's going in this version.
That's good.
It was me and you last time when you said it's not in this one.
Oh yeah,
and then it turned out it wasn't. So if we go to pick number 5,
you were right. That's how it turned out.
So
it's a rare thing.
Thank you.
It does happen.
So the shop units in 3.9, if a unit is in the shop, they will now be shown in the tech tree. So you don't need to kind of trawl around and check the shop every day. Just check the tech tree, and you'll see there if a unit's on sale. This is an extension of our already existing showing shop premium units you bought in the tech tree. Now you'll see ones that are available too. I'm just seeing if anyone's...
With the idea of the player and you guys having more visibility and better visibility on when these are happening, because you might not pay attention to the Wargaming Center or to the actual web shop, so you just have to load up the game and scroll through the factions and you will see them there.
Someone said, are you even looking at YouTube chat? Yes, but I had the keyboard up so I couldn't see very much. There we go. Yeah, some people were talking about it. Apparently the Macedonia thing is actually quite politically charged.
That's why I chose not to answer the question.
Someone in here is thinking, that's good.
Oh, one of us
now
needs
Paul
to.
is savaging you. This is going great.
I didn't.
I have the power to move on.
Sorry, you had
to the next topic.
You can say what you want, but ultimately you're going to get to a point where it's just you on these things.
Yeah, I know.
You pretty much have to put up.
Welcome to the Josh Show. So, should we talk also about So there are 3 big features coming, right? So that's one of them. The second one is the ability animation systems improvement.
Yep.
Do either of you two know about this, or shall I rattle off the patch note?
I'd love the patch note.
So, by initial design, the ability phase system only supports 1 duration animation and locomotion/attack overrides to track. This means these are lost if a new ability phase is activated. Anything you might have is cleared. This new feature is about ability/phase stacking. The system will know which one is the last one you activated. When this one ends, it will try to restart existing animations/locomotion overrides. So there's an example of this, if you need some.
Did you write these?
Don't point out the typo. So...
You wrote lapsed instead of last, and then left it out as he said it.
Example in the old system. Ability 1 starts with a duration of 60 seconds. It plays a duration spliced animation and overrides the locomotion machine. Then 10 seconds after, Ability 2 starts a duration of 20 seconds, which then plays splice animations and clears the locomotion overrides caused by 1. And then 20 seconds after that, Ability 2 finishes and clears the animations, so no more animations will be played, but Ability 1 is still active. So it's effectively saying if you play an ability that has 60 seconds worth of animations, but then halfway through that you played another one which had like 5 or 6. After that one ended, it wouldn't go back to the initial ones. So with the new system, that was a much easier way of explaining it. With the new system, it doesn't do that. It will go back to the last... Yeah, the last ability will be restored, and you'll have an extra ending of what the animation was. So hopefully you guys all understood exactly what I was just saying now.
Battle visual feedback improvements.
Yeah,
basically.
let's call it that.
It's better. It's more good.
Yep. So pretty much, if that's the essence of it, right? Is an animation will last its duration.
More good.
More good.
Your best technical description. More better, good.
More better. There is better, more good.
So
the good, it is higher.
Shall we just talk about leaderboards? Let's talk about leaderboards. Don't go for number 6 yet.
Goes higher.
So we announced in the dev newsletter that we were going to do leaderboards. I think we'd announced it on our roadmap a while ago. But people didn't really seem to pick up on it there. They did pick up on it when we spoke about it last week, though. Or Wednesday.
Here we go.
So, do you want to talk a little bit about leaderboards? What was the intent behind them?
The intent was to give those players who've gotten to tier 10 a way to sort of show off that they've gotten to tier 10 and show off to be the best. It's not supposed to supplant ranked or supplement it. It's supposed to be sort of its own thing. So just because leaderboards has been released, it doesn't actually have an impact on ranked mode itself.
Right.
And it doesn't mean we won't be doing ranked mode. It's kind of its own separate thing, basically.
Okay. My ears pinged off. Hold on. Filibuster. Okay, thank you for that.
Welcome.
So it's really looking at as well. We 1-2'd it with the abilities, right? We're looking at adding more end-game content. The leaderboards will come first.
Yeah, for quite a while. Like we spent like 2 years trying to improve the early game, and more recently we've started like, well, no, our end game now needs a lot of love because there's a lot of players who are there now. So we want to start improving what's at the end game and what's there to play.
Yep. So I think really the best way to show it off is I've got a picture of it prepared. I don't know if you've seen this picture. There are a couple of bugs with it still because it's still in the testing phase, but this should give a good like overview of what we're kind of looking at. Number 6.
Please.
There you go. Thank you very much. So this is the kind of thing we're looking at here. You've got rating, win rate, average kills, and country.
Yeah.
And by the looks of it, country is optional.
Yeah, country is optional. So that's on the overview panel on this same screen. You choose what country you want to display for yourself. So like, for example, I moved here from somewhere else, so I would like to display there rather than here potentially.
Okay.
On my next to my own name anyway. But yeah, this is effectively what it will look like.
So we have country, which is the country that you select if you wish. Average kills, which is average kills. Win rate, which is win rate, and rating, which is based on battles won, right? Yeah. Battles won and lost.
And so these are all only in battles where you have at least one tier 10 unit. It only counts the win rate and average kills for those battles. Only counts them for your rating. You gain rating when you win. You lose rating when you lose. That kind of thing.
Okay, so this is I think like a lot of features we do, it's a really good starting point. It's something we can look at. And we can look at your feedback on it as well. The people in first didn't cheat. It's testing.
Yeah, this is testing environment by the look of it. Like,
yeah.
Because it's like bad user and hotests there on there and everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just test the data, don't worry.
Yep.
So to get the gist of this, win and play.
Yeah.
The more you play, the more you win, the higher you go up, right?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
And this will display the top 100. It's only 28 because we only had 28 testing sections on this one, or whatever I say. But it will be populated with the top 100, and it also, if you're not in that top 100, tell you what percentage you're in of the overall tier 10 player base.
Yeah, so it'll say things like, it'll say top 10%. If it says top 70%, that actually means that you're in like the bottom 30%, so it'll always display the top.
Okay.
So if it says like top 100%, you're like one of the worst players that there are, so don't get too excited.
But you still made it to tier 10, so you can't be that bad.
That's already like that's already a pretty good starting. However, I've seen some pretty good players.
Someone said, does this take into account previous battles?
No, it'll be from when we turn the system on.
And when did we turn the system on?
It'll be when it goes out is when we'll turn it on.
I believe the system is already on.
The system is already on.
And I think we're allowed to say that, because I asked...
I wasn't going to tell them that, because we're going to clear it and restart it.
Then ignore
well
me.
then.
However, I did get the... Yeah, good job.
I didn't know we were restarting it. I didn't know we were restarting it.
We might be restarting it basically, which is why I wasn't going to say anything. But we have been tracking, so I've seen the current version, and I've seen some names that I recognise on there. A certain clan, and there's a certain person who won't be very happy that he's towards the bottom of the list.
Oh, that's not me. I raised the hand when you said top players, and then I lowered my hand.
Yeah.
So
I didn't see your name on there, but I didn't look that hard either. So
it may or may not be cleared.
It may or may
but
not.
At least we know it's working.
Yeah, and it has been running for I think a week now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we ran it in the background.
Yeah, basically. So the system, the behind the scenes bit is all there, but the UI we turned it off.
No.
Okay, so what if I play in a party with tier 10 player, but I take tier 9? Will I be counted?
No, it won't count you.
So it's only if you have tier 10.
It'll count for him. It won't count for you.
Okay, so it's only if you have tier 10 players. Okay, tier 10 units even.
Yep.
Will you plan to clear leaderboards after a few months?
Yeah, we might well do. So as you say, it's always an iterative process, and if we decide that the values we've used are wrong, or we need to change the system behind it, then we would clear it. But unless we see that, it's quite likely we'll leave it as it is until it gets. If it like ends up stagnating or something, then that's a problem we'd identify and say, well, clearly our balance on the system wasn't good enough.
Right.
At which point we'd clear it and start again with new mechanics.
Mm.
But we're not planning to clear it if there's no problems with the system, but if there are problems we will clear it and start again.
Okay. Someone said, would you show the amount of battles someone's played on the leaderboards? Do you want to add axe infantry?
Not related to leaderboards.
What if it's a private match? Do private matches count?
Custom battles?
Yeah.
No. Only match-made battles count.
Awesome.
And only battle, well, you can't play versus I guess.
Yep.
So,
anyway.
Someone said clear the leaderboards every day. I'd have a good chance to get to number 1 then.
Maybe. I mean, there's stuff like that it would be. We'd have like daily leaderboards, and that would work alongside if we were to do something like that.
Yeah.
Or we'd have monthly leaderboards, that kind of thing. Because that could be interesting.
But this is a really good
that's
way
something.
to actually kind of work out what people want from it as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we put it out, and then you guys can feedback on it. Say,
Yep.
I like this, I don't like this, etc. And then we figure out, is that because rank battles aren't there yet, or is it because of this thing, or do we need to change the system or add to it, etc. So iterative.
Cadence, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So some people are saying, what are they actually ranked by? What determines their position? Is
So
it the
the
wins
rating
or
you saw. So we display wins and win rating and
Kills.
kills. That's the one. But ultimately, it is actually ordered by your rating.
Okay, so
So
they're
you
not ranked
can-
by
yeah.
country.
No, they're not ranked by country, funnily enough. So you'll see, you can see the ratings there. They're ranked in that order. So the rating is based on the wins and losses, and we've got a little mini algorithm running in the background to determine that. And this will update every hour with your rating. So
Okay.
Yay.
Will we know what roles the top players are playing, so we could see if there's like one unit clearly dominating the top?
No.
you could find their profile and see what they're doing, but it won't display it on here.
That's that person to think of us, though.
What?
They were thinking for us, so that we can look at it. And
Oh yeah, we can look at that stuff.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, you can't. Sorry guys. I
um,
thought they were asking from the player's perspective. But
will the matchmaking take ranking into account for tier 10 battles?
no. No, so this isn't a matchmaking rating, it's just a rating.
Yeah, this is just think of this as a display ladder, as a I am the number 1 in the tier 10 because I've been playing the most and winning the most. This has no.
Yeah, so not win. How often you win isn't the only thing. It's also how much you play. So that plays into it as well. So if you have a high win rate and you play a lot of battles, you'll get a pretty nice rating.
Is this a global leaderboard or regional?
Global.
And are countries locked by region?
No, you can select whatever country you want,
Awesome.
except the countries that apparently didn't make it on the list, like mine.
Really?
Yeah, Wales isn't on the list. It's just Great Britain. You can't go any more specific.
Oh,
I'd make a joke, but
are their arms pretty buffed, or is it the camera? Oh, what are you saying?
Same wise in Wales up there.
Oh,
Yeah, exactly. See, it's not just me.
even producer is writing now. What are we doing,
I'm
Josh?
gonna- with
Control
answer
the
to that question,
situation.
I'm going to go with it's that their arms are buff. Let's just leave it at that.
someone did say that seeing as China and the UK are on the same page, it's probably global.
Yeah, it's a good chance.
It's probably global.
Basically, there's no restriction on what country you pick, so you can pick any country.
How many country flags are there, do you know?
A lot.
There
We
we go.
used, well, a couple hundred.
Someone said, is it all country flags or just big countries only, is why I asked.
It's not just big country flags. I think we had ones like I almost said the name of one. Then they're like, I don't want people to get offended if they think for considering their country is small.
Oh.
There's like a couple hundred flags in there. Basically. It's a very long list, and with many countries I'd never even heard of before. except
Someone
my
else
own.
said Wales is not a country.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Yeah, but this year- What's his username?
I was just
Oh, moving on.
What's his account then?
Um,
Because he might find that.
off of the
Alright,
noob.
I can't change account and stuff. Don't worry. As
so
much as I'd like to.
I think that's that for leaderboards for now. We'll have more. We'll have a section at the end where people can ask questions if you have any questions about it. But we will be moving on because we thought we'd try a new little section out where we look at the top Reddit posts of the last 2 weeks.
I feel like we're an episode repeater.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. That means you think this is structured.
Okay.
I'm taking that as a compliment. That person did reply, Jamie, don't hurt me, please. So, it says it seems like players with 0 win rate also get rating.
Yeah, they will, but it'll go
It'll
down.
be right at the bottom, right?
It'll go down. So everyone starts at a value, and if you have a 0 win rating, you will go down and down and down and down.
So, I think we will move on to the section I was just describing, where we'll look at the top posts that you guys have made over the last 2 weeks, and we'll kind of talk about them, see if there's anything in there that we want to discuss. So let's start off with, I believe, what was the top post of the last 2 weeks, number 7, which was just a pike meme.
But a good one.
It is, and I think there's maybe something we could discuss in there about what we're looking about at pikes. I don't know if this is the first time you guys have seen this.
No, I've seen this.
Okay.
I've seen this as well.
It was fun.
Yeah. So I guess, Paul, is there anything?
Yeah, we've been aware of this particular behavior with Kinani and Pikes, and we have done, I believe, almost 6 months ago, a massive nerf on turn speed on Phalanx Deposition as a unit ability, because that was also affecting Pike's turn speed, and then we have massively nerfed Pike Phalanx turn speed and Kinani's
Rapid advance.
Rapid advance, thank you, turn speed. That was not sufficient, and we will hopefully in the future, and maybe I should pass now to Jamie. Long story short, we are aware of this issue and we want to improve it. Number wise is not perfectly balanceable at the moment, but in the future I believe we will.
I've been considering the mechanic, and I've had a few ideas, some of which I showed to Paul earlier today. Hoping it's kind of a delicate one when it comes to Phalanx, because we've tried reworking it so many times.
Yeah.
And this one is again another
Rework.
very different direction. Yeah. So we're aware of the problem. We're trying to kind of address it. It's a very difficult one to address.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on to the next one. Thank you guys for your great answer there.
Mm-hmm.
This was a post, and it's effectively the title, right? Giving control of disconnected units to one
Yeah,
person.
we wanted to do this for ages. I had a really years ago, I think I did a design for it. But like the problem I have with giving it to one person is what happens when that one person is the troll, who decides I'm just going to go friendly fire on the other side of the map. Like if he's the only one with control, that's it. Like you have no method of getting around it. So that's always why I've been hesitant with it. I did have a design where like you can retain control for up to 30 seconds after the last order you give, and then it times out and someone else can take them off you, but if you keep maintaining it. But again, it was the fact that one troll could take over them and do whatever he wanted with them and have no repercussions. So then I started to look at like a point forwarding thing, like where if you have control of the guy, you get the negative points from the actions that you take. So if you start friendly firing or something like that, then you get the negatives to make sure that people don't just use someone else's units to troll. But it goes so it gets so deep down the rabbit hole.
So many things that you have to like think about and handle, and
exactly, yeah. There's always some way of abusing it or some way of making it worse. Because we could do that, and then we'll get the similar complaints about people still being.
Yeah, I recall some vague discussions about maybe defining a battle leader on each team who would be like voted into that,
I saw that
at the beginning of the battle to control these units. But then again, we go back to what you were saying.
We used to have like the leader system, and that nobody really used it, which is why it got removed. And then it was such a pain to use it because you have to spend a long time voting and getting everyone to vote. Someone else suggested having like the highest win rate player use it, and giving it to the highest win rate player, and if they weren't available, give it to the next. And then it was like
that's actually what someone suggested. Yeah,
and then he specified, but only if they played more than 500 battles. He's like, well, there's a lot of battles where nobody in them has played more than 500 battles, so that's not a workable solution either.
Someone also said, do they read the chat? No, they said they don't read the chat, but the irony in me reading that out, I think, kind of clarifies that. Even read YouTube chat as well.
Yeah, man. It's another thing on the list that it'd be nice to deal with. That there's just no perfect solution that's actually going to really solve the problem.
Yeah.
And plus, like the battle environment itself doesn't know the win rate of the players involved. It only gets sent. Certain details about the player.
Yeah. So probably other auxiliary systems would have to first be put into place for us to properly have this feature developed in battle and working.
We have to start passing more details about players into battles and stuff like that, and then that always has its security concerns with it. So it's kind of like in an ideal world, we use what's already in the battle to make the decisions, but then what's in the battle isn't necessarily enough. And then I don't want to like cause a vote every single time someone gets disconnected. Because then, like, it could be in the middle of the battle, like everyone's like fighting, and it comes up with a thing, vote now, and either nobody interacts with it because they're busy doing the things, or one person's interacted with it, or two, and they give it to the troll.
Yeah. Well, so Seaghost was saying maybe party players should control their party's disconnected players.
That's not a bad shout. That could work.
Okay.
You have to look at some metrics on how often a disconnected player is from a party as opposed to a solo player, though.
We roughly have, give or take, these are just rough estimates, 30% of the player base in party, and then...
I'm wondering if that spreads out evenly across disconnects. Because, for example, if I'm playing with someone who disconnects frequently, he gets kicked out of my party.
Well,
Is that why you
And
don't
actually,
play with
no, actually there was a time with me and you, actually, we were in a party, this was years ago, and someone kept disconnecting, and we just said, no, get lost. And the person got very, very annoyed, because he got kicked out for it.
Pelascos kind of does this very often.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, Pela.
Yeah.
Hi.
See, I'd be interested to see if the distribution of players who disconnect versus the players in parties who just disconnect. To see where it goes more.
Someone else was saying, just one other quick question about leaderboards before it disappears off of YouTube chat. They're saying if you use tier 10 and a tier 9 unit.
Yeah, that would count. So you need at least one tier 10 unit in your battle, and then you're good to go.
Someone else was saying,
or in your party, not your party.
In your loadout.
In your loadout.
Yeah.
That's a good way of saying it. In your loadout, in your squad that you take into the battle.
someone else was asking before we jump to the next Reddit one, are there any plans to add more commanders and units to Carthage?
Not that we can discuss.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything actively in the works, but it's it's something we're always looking for.
Yeah.
Someone else was saying, give the option to the top 3 rated players on the team at the beginning.
Again, how do you define the
Rated,
rating?
yes.
If they're called Josh CA, they're definitely number 1. That's how you determine
so then
it.
we'd need some kind of an algorithm that rates players based on how good they are, and then we need to pass that into the battle. And
producer, can we block Josh please out of the picture?
How do you,
Don't do
how
it.
do you rate the player? Do you do it based on win rate? And for example, my win rate with archers is nowhere near as good as my win rate with swords. I mean, if a DC player who's an archer gets disconnected, should I get control, even though I'm terrible with archers? Or like maybe I'm playing cavalry and don't actually have the bandwidth to deal with archers as well. So should I be giving the archers the one player who really cannot deal with it? And maybe there's a player whose units have died, but
It's highly contextual.
yeah, exactly. So there's so many contexts to try and work into it, and I'm fairly sure that if we do the simple solution, the same complaints will come back saying you gave it to the wrong person, you need to do your rating better. So I'm like, okay, we'll put in a rating. No, the rating isn't very good. It needs to, and it'll just keep going forever.
He covered me.
Actually solve the problem, basically.
He covered me, and someone said, "Wow, the stream just got a lot better."
Ouch. I guess your leaderboard rating is pretty low.
Yay! Let's move on to the next question then, because my feelings are hurt.
Yeah. Which, hang on, I just want to sort of round off. Isn't to say that your feedback is not valid and that I don't want to fix it or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's just the solution is a lot more complicated a solution that will actually work is a lot more complicated than a simple just give it to one player. Like when it comes to this kind of stuff, there is no just. That is not a word that applies. There is no just.
Yeah.
It's really.
But it is something then that we're aware of. And
that ideally we want to fix. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Shall we talk about Core 47's allied? Oh, I forgot to say the name for all of these. First one was Senna 7A. Second one was DET Trooper, Det Trooper, DE Trooper,
Yeah, I call him
and
Trooper.
this one is K Core 47, who talks about award allied units. So he's saying that people got poor battle rewards because they helped him, but actually he really wanted to say thanks. Is there a way that we could thank them and award them?
Yeah, well, we've explored it a few times, but it's a huge system. Because looking at other games, they introduce an honor system, and for about a week, everyone loves it, and then everyone stops using it. And then looking at those games again and how they've iterated on that, they've ended up with an honor system that's very, very in depth, and links long term into into your game experience. So it's not just a thing you do, but it links into what cosmetics you get, to how you show off to other players, what kind of matchmaking you get, etc.
Yeah.
And all of that is a lot, and I don't want to go through the same iteration steps. I don't want to come in with the system that doesn't work. I kind of want to just learn from those things and jump to the end.
Okay.
But that's a huge leap of just work that we've got to get done, and there's a lot of other things. There's a lot of other stuff that's high priority to fix.
Yeah.
Like we've got 101 problems in the game, that all of which need fixing. And it's just like, where do we put the time? And unfortunately, honor system is not where we put the time at the moment. Like, we don't even have report yet.
Yeah.
We should probably
Let's
do
punish
that
the bad before we reward the good, right?
But yeah, well, but like the point system still isn't where it should be. So there's problems in here, like you said, of course, parties should be considered so they can't abuse it, and it gets on my designer nerve, as it were, when someone. It's the same thing with the just, when you take this massive problem and just say, oh yeah, of course it should be considered. Like, but how? Like, what do you do? Because parties should still be able to honour each other, etc. so it can't just be summarized into one thing. Like that one sentence can be expanded out into an essay below that entire thing, really.
So I guess really it's a succinct summary, right? It's something people want. And we want people to be able to reward people more. I guess
I like it as well personally.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
it's a very good idea, and hopefully, and we'll definitely, considering that the players have requested it, at some point backlog it. But that as Jamie mentioned is like what other systems are more critical to be developed before this one.
In an ideal world, the point system would handle stuff like this, but it's really difficult to actually detect if someone's protecting someone else without it also being really abusable. So yeah, it's kind of like a catch-22.
So I guess maybe it's something that we'll put into our backlog and look into at some point.
It is in the backlog.
Oh, it is in the backlog. Well, something that when we have time to, we can read.
There is a list on there.
There is. Yeah. So let's move on to Kleinker. Kleinker. Kleinker was talking about vision towers and barbarians. This should be number 10 if it works. There you go. So this was his suggestion. You might want to get rid of us.
Yeah.
Bye. So that top one is what the current system is, right? When you capture a watchtower, it reveals everything in a circle around. His two suggestions were that there was a softer reveal. So in suggestion 1, that's the barbarian unit still being hidden, and the Roman unit being shown, or Greek. And in the second, it was... is that 2 barbarian units?
I think no.
You don't see the barbarian at the back.
You can't see over the
right. Yes. Yeah.
The vision tower only grants this extra vision, this sort of soft vision, as he called it.
Yeah.
Whereas the unit itself is what's granting hard vision.
Yeah.
So the Roman player still wouldn't be seeable.
Yeah.
Or
I get you.
No, the Roman player would be viewable.
Yeah.
And that's to do with the thing. So just to start off, actually, one of the things he said in that post was that vision towers just give you thing and ignores everything else. Actually, watchtowers use the height. So all of our vision system uses the height of the entity casting the vision. So watchtowers actually have a much higher viewpoint, which is why they can see over most obstacles. But you'll see in certain maps, like a watchtower at the bottom of a cliff doesn't grant you vision at the top of the cliff because there's a cliff in the way, because it still uses that height. My kind of summary of this is, it's a cool idea, but it's kind of far out of left field, if that makes any sense. It's not directly addressing any clear problem. And the problem could be barbarians underpowered, if you want to say that, but that's like something that is addressed through balance, not through here's huge system. Yeah. Here's huge new mechanic that throws a massive spanner into the works that comes out of nowhere and just wrecking balls into the balance. Like, that's something that is considered a bit more slowly. And because it's not, and it's again down to the priorities thing, like we've got the problems that we already have. So to put work into doing something like this is when it's not directly and clearly solving a problem, it's not the best way to solve any problems that we have. That it is a really cool suggestion, and it's an interesting mechanic, and we've explored similar stuff for some of the barbarians before, along the lines of stealth. But we even implemented 1 or 2 versions. We've always sort of like held off on it because stealth is such a what is even the word?
Breaking too much some pillars.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's just kind of like such a divisive. I think actually divisive.
Yeah.
Kind of mechanic that comes in, and it's so completely out there in terms of how Arena works right now that it throws just a huge. Basically, you have the balance, and then you have stealth system wrecking ball, just go right through it and just break everything. So it's like it's one that would be really difficult to think. Yes, we can confidently put this in, and it won't break anything. There's also not actually solving any of the problems that we've got at the moment.
Yeah.
In the best way, but would be cool one day to have.
Well, someone was suggesting as well, and it's something I've seen quite a bit on Reddit, is a system that lets you know when you've been spotted. So if you are sneaking and someone catches the watchtower, knowing if that watchtower's seen you.
That's different. That's not a huge game-breaking feature. That's like something that we could do.
Yes, and it has a clear goal in mind. It's supposed to provide to the player like that light bulb when you have been spotted. You know that someone is about to action on you.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, there's still the gameplay around ambushes that we want to look at, like with the vision range the way it is at the moment, and the increased camera height and stuff like that. Ambushes have become a lot more difficult. especially if we start throwing in the "you've been spotted by an enemy," it becomes even more difficult, and it kind of makes infiltration even worse, because if you see some cavalry running at you and your allies flag it, it goes, "You've been spotted!" It's like very obvious, even more so than it already is. It becomes even more obvious that that is not a friendly player, and we could hide that in the UI, I guess. Yeah, it's a cool idea.
So, thank you very much for your answers, guys. We will move on. There, I don't think there's anything in-depth coming for the next couple. So if we move to 11, we have a nice Leonidas skin someone suggested. I thought it was quite nice. It's kind of like a fuller... Or maybe it's... I mean, that looks very similar. Because does he have the cloak?
Yeah, I was just thinking, maybe...
Maybe he's just sketching Leonidas. It's a nice sketch. I always appreciate some good art.
I'm thinking
I mean,
now.
the crest is a lot more detailed.
Yeah.
Yes.
I quite like it. I just thought we'd highlight it. And that is by...
In fact, I think the crest in our game is backwards, whereas that is the sideways on crest, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Makes you look like a scary, intimidating big face. Like they do birds, you know?
I don't think Leonidas has a cape now in Arena.
No, I don't think he does have a cape.
No.
But interestingly, I think reports show that they took their capes off before they went to fight. When I was writing the 5 things Hollywood didn't tell you about Spartans, that was one of the ones that I don't think made the cut, just because it wasn't that interesting. But that was VAD69568. So thank you for your Leonidas skin. We do like good drawings. And finally, we'll end it with Rex Panic, who submitted that.
End it with.
I love this one. I was lying in bed browsing Reddit late at night one evening. I saw this. And I just spent the next 10 minutes giggling. It's just great.
It's it felt wrong to not include it.
Yeah, there's also another, if I may derail for a little bit, there's like a awesome YouTube new clip with like Kinane. You remember that one? It's like in the same sort of like funny.
Maybe. How long ago was it? There's been actually, I saw
1 or 2 weeks ago. I don't remember the dude's name, but it was awesome when they play with barrage with Kinane and they play in a party and they start trolling each other. That was like.
I think that was actually the post down from this, but I decided how we would include a video.
No, but at least a shout out to the dude, which I don't remember his name. There you go.
Shout out to dude whose name we don't remember.
Yeah.
I saw something. Is there going to be an oily shirtless Leo soon?
Windows.
Oh, maybe it was Kiwi.
What?
Because he said, I don't think my video made it. So shout out to Kiwi.
Is he the dude? He plays with Sun Tzu and he plays with another dude.
Shout out to Kiwi anyway.
Yeah, no matter what you do, Kiwi.
Shout out to everyone.
And Gunslinger was talking about his post as well, because I think that was one we discussed. It wasn't in the top post of the last 2 weeks, I don't believe. It was the one about dailies. And I know we had a lot of discussion. I know there was some discussion with the... I don't even know what the team's called. Feature Team 2, I guess. About that kind of stuff. And it's stuff that, we are listening to and we understand it.
Me and the designer on there have been discussing this kind of thing for a very long time.
Yeah.
And we've got a couple of systems that we've designed that are in the works to try and help address the kind of problems that come out of that stuff.
Yeah.
But
I think
like one of the ideas was that instead of like you get this bonus for your daily victory, like you get something that you can spend on a later game to apply the bonus there or something like that. We got a whole load of things. We know it's a.
But we know it's something that you guys are thinking about, and we're thinking about too. So we have 15 minutes, and I'm out of community questions, which means we can kind of just open the floor. Let me get the pads out.
Get on the floor. Open the door.
So if you guys have any questions for Jamie or Paul, feel free to shout them now.
Yeah.
Probably don't shout them, because we won't hear you. Josh, have you figured out... this is one that I was talking to... I had a conversation with Lewis about this. Oh, it's Lewis posting. Have you figured out why there is 30-second CPU lag? So I've seen 3 or 4 people reporting that there are some CPU lag spikes at the moment. We're trying to work out what the exact trigger of those are. It seems... What are you typing? Because that's my personal account.
He's just saying hello. And now don't derail him. He's now too paranoid.
I did see that, and I've spoken to some other people who've had a similar problem. There's not a huge amount of reports yet, but I'm keeping an eye on it. I've got it logged up in our kind of bug section. But yes, if you find any more information about that, I assume he's currently still typing.
Exclamation point.
He just had the 30
It's
seconds.
annoying.
So if you do have any more information about what you think is causing that, or if you watching this have been experiencing CPU lag since 3.1.8, if you reach out to me and just kind of let me know what conditions you've been experiencing, and if you had it before, that'd be great.
A little bit of context building helps with this issue, so we can investigate them
Yes,
better.
absolutely. Well, it's how we managed to get the hotfix out so quickly, right?
Yes, all I'm saying is I have lag. CPU lag is not sufficient. That's all.
I'm going to
And
take that
Kiwi,
back.
that's an awesome clip, by the way. We're gonna make sure in the future, if you put another clip like that out, that Josh actually like shows it, because that's a better shout in my opinion. But you know, Josh kind of does his thing. So sorry, he's here.
I don't know if I'm going to accept that.
Oh.
Jamie, put those sexy shorts back on.
Yeah, no, I'm not putting the shorts back on. I much prefer the.
Wait, what?
Especially with the lower
every,
camera
like,
angle.
yeah, exactly. You don't. The last 2 or
What's
3 streams,
happening?
I've been wearing shorts that are like up here, and they get yeah. I've not.
That-
I've been a bit self-conscious about it.
Is that a stream strategy to increase
Yeah,
viewers or
but
what?
there's a
like
particular-
show a bit of lag?
There's a particular user
No, it's
with
not
a particular name, who just each time was just like, "Oh, I love them sexy thighs, Jamie." I'm like, oh, I don't
Well.
feel comfortable about this.
What did you say? That's why we do it?
That's how we do it for the for the random Twitch commenters.
Someone said, are you guys still working on the mid-end throw? I know that is something Will spoke about last time he was on, and I
Yes.
believe that is something he's still working on.
Correct.
Um,
We're doing mechanical improvements, hopefully, as well, not just, yeah.
Kiwi said new video coming out in 1 week, so
Oh, I
make sure
can't
you
wait for
subscribe, Paul. I saw something else as well. Do you add the plan adding the option to change the lobby backgrounds? Yes, we do.
Yeah, we do. We've got a design for that done.
Did you just post, Josh, where are my camels?
Where are the camels, Josh?
Incoming?
Oh, can you add portas for spearmen? I think this is a question we get quite regularly now, and it's something that Will answered, and I'll regurgitate his answer.
Which is?
And it was, we didn't want to give that to spearmen straight away because there was worries about it maybe being overcooked and being too powerful. So giving it to all those unit types, would have broken that testing even further. But giving it to spearmen is a goal, and that's
Maybe.
Oh. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. Someone said, are there any plans for reworking the UI/UX, the friends list and platoon lobby?
We're constantly looking at UI and UX.
Yes.
Like it's a thing that's constantly iterating.
It's a long-term goal that we
yeah.
want to, and we
We make
constantly need to
everything much
improve. Yes.
So are there worries about tier 10 diminishing high tier ranked because players deciding that one is more legitimate than the other?
What? Wait, what? Different flavors, I would argue.
Yeah.
Those are
They're
different
kind of-
flavors.
Yeah, as I said earlier, they fill 2 different niches.
Yeah.
Which can be
Yeah.
mistaken. Yes, I can see why one might think they're the same, but they're not really. If you look at it, one is to incentivize players who like to climb on a ladder and
Yeah.
like to play insane amounts of hours, and the other is for the very elite who like want to get their
Yeah.
1 or 2 hours and have
Yeah.
a
So like where leaderboards kind of takes into account like how many battles you've played as well as your win rate and stuff like that. Ranked is pretty much just winning battles. So while one is be good, which is ranked, which is all based around being competitive and being good. The other one is based around be good, play games, play arena,
Yep.
or that kind of thing, or get through the tiers, get high tier, etc. So they kind of target two different things. Yeah.
Someone said, do you plan on adding new factions? Someone said, yes, we will. So then they replied, do you plan on adding new factions, and what are they? I'll say that we revealed
The factions.
Japan a while ago.
Yeah.
Have
But
we?
we did. We said that
Yeah.
it's a while off though, and
Yeah.
that still stands true. We got plenty more coming before then. An alien faction would be cool.
Might be
No,
a bit outside the bounds of
maybe.
possibilities, that one.
Where? Oh, someone said, where is Paul from?
Ooh.
Downstairs is ground floor.
Yeah, we're all from the downstairs ground floor.
I'm from a lot of places. No, I'm Eastern.
The Great East.
Yes, Dacian. Sorry,
Oh
to
God,
be
this
more
is-
specific, I'm Dacian.
This is
So-
descending, guys. Dinosaur factions and
Yeah.
Camel factions, an entire faction, only camels.
The Empire.
llamas, alpacas,
Oh, boy.
thrown some goats, just a faction of that stuff.
I saw, if I may change topic. I saw
Please.
I saw on the forums a thread about how players can queue up in the matchmaking. So at the moment you can take a tier 1 and a tier 5
Yep.
unit and some other things like that. We have already kind of done some small designs, and we are working on improving those
Yep.
small little quality of life, if one might say.
Someone else was asking
Things.
as well about bot games and win rate. And I think something that we clarified ages ago, and that is they are tracked separately. I know in game they're presented all as one, but I believe that on our systems they're tracked separately, and it's something that
Sorry,
it's
what's tracked separately?
bot games and PvP games.
Oh, you
You
mean
mean-
AI game
Yeah.
versus AI?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
well,
it's something that if we
For example, you can't actually play tier 10 units in a bot game.
Yep.
In a versus AI game. So there's
so
not,
is that win rate just for tier 10 games or for all
yeah, that win rate
There
is
we go.
just for the games that you play with a unit that is tier 10.
Okay.
It's
Oh.
completely separated from the rest
now,
of the game.
now I'm thinking of the 0.0001% chance that someone disconnects during loading time and he gets morphed into a bot. Because I have a definite
Yeah.
feeling that someone will be like, no, we found a bot.
It counts. It counts.
So clearly, yeah.
Oh no, naval battles. Disease cow ammo for the catapult.
Oh, I always wanted that. I always wanted the elephant, the guys on top of the elephants throwing elephant poop as well.
Someone said make the tutorial have very cool high tier units.
I wanted that in the first place.
Yes.
The very, very first design I put in for the very first tutorial had you running around with tier 10 units. And
Epicness.
just like raffle stomping. Like actually the very first version I did was on Thermopylae, where it took place as you go through the hot gates and then up the other side down to the base. And you had tier 10 units, you go down to the hot gates, you beat up a Leonidas who's standing in the pass, and then you continue on while catapults start raining hellfire down upon you. No, allied catapults didn't rain hell upon you, they rained hell upon your enemies. While you moved on and you went around and captured the base and you
Yeah.
also took on any units that were left there. That was the very first version of the tutorial. That was a very long time ago. I still have that actually. I wonder if I could...
Such a beautiful story.
It
Too
was
bad.
a beautiful story, yeah. But then what we discovered was that it explained absolutely nothing and didn't teach...
Zero
didn't teach
practical
anyone
Oh, that might be
anything.
why it didn't.
So it was completely useless. Basically, we found that while that tutorial was based more around here's how you move, here's the unit types, blah, blah, and when I say how you move, I mean like how you position. Here's your unit types, here's how you separate your units around.
Yeah.
What we actually found was the skills players needed was here's how you click and select a unit. Here is how you give a movement order. Here is how you move. Here's how
Yeah.
you move them
So
together.
calibrate too.
Yeah, basically, it was the bare basics. There was one playtest where I watched and we sat him down. He was starting tutorial, and he picked up the mouse and started looking. You're like, oh no.
Change tutorial now.
So basically, we found that new players to the game, especially ones who hadn't played Total War before,
Yes.
there were some basic skills that they needed to be taught in the tutorial. So we had to sort of dial back the tutorial to closer to what it is now.
Right. Someone was asking about are there any fixes for social coming, but I don't think necessarily any of us on the couch here would be able to answer that.
Depends what social fixes.
We
they're
are
talking about.
aware of a lot of issues, but
Yep.
we don't have any at the moment any certain confirmed fixes for them. But we are aware of. Yeah. I don't want to go through the entire list because it's too long and
Yeah.
yeah.
So
But it just hit me in your scenario. Isn't that what really you like the most important thing that you're supposed to learn in arena, like dodging artillery bolters with infantry?
One of the most important things, yes, but a tier 1, perhaps not. Since there
Uh,
are
well,
just-
yeah,
there.
so it
it's just
gets
a
to
little
tier
bit.
3.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit funny because that's very relevant to our tier 10.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
If tier 10 players learn a tutorial, then I am worried. Like, why are you? How the hell did you get to tier 10 without knowing that not being hit by the giant boulder is probably a good idea?
Someone said, what's with daily missions? That was something we announced in our roadmap a few weeks
yeah.
ago. They are something we're still looking at, something we're still working on. Someone said, weather variety. They're talking about weather. And this is something Life has answered a lot.
Yeah.
And I know that we've spoken about how weather with effects would have issues, right? Because it'd have to cause
Yeah.
it'd either imbalance it for one faction, or it'd have to imbalance it for everyone. In which case, what's the point?
Yeah. It's like
Um,
if everybody has a speed debuff, no.
Yeah, and it just
So,
reduces the game
yeah.
speed, right? But I think that he didn't rule out weather without effects. I mean, Alps, for example,
Yeah,
had
just
snow,
purely
right?
cosmetic weather is
yeah.
But
that's the thing.
clearly there are multiple facets to consider
Yeah.
here. Balance implications, terrain implications, FPS implications, so performance implications, which is
Yeah.
quite if on a free-to-play game, that's a very, very high requirement that we have to jump over.
Even stuff like UI, because like we found with the Alps map that the blue UI on white background, you couldn't really see what you were doing. So any kind of weather that we do even affects stuff like that.
It needs to properly be thought in and experimented
Careful.
with and practiced,
Yeah.
because it's...
Someone else was saying, what about the Boudica Leonidas Sulla skins? I showed them a long time ago. Those are, I believe, some of those are in a polishing stage. I believe all those skins are still being worked on.
Yep.
I mean, we showed them to you as kind of concepts of what skins could be, and they are still, those three, I believe, are still being worked on as skins to be made. But yeah, we'll hopefully have more skins soon.
From concept to model to in-game model, it's a long road.
We have 3 more minutes before we have to go. So, if we could make a unit thinner or thicker, would be cool.
You can. What?
No, I think they mean the actual person.
Oh.
We can.
Yeah.
Damn, I
In the
really liked
database,
that
we can scale
Thermopylae.
him.
Oh god, don't. I really liked the Thermopylae tutorial idea.
Yeah, so did I. It just didn't work. That was all.
Ooh, that would be a good community challenge to get Josh's face, put it on a model, and then scale him up in game.
We should do it as a premium unit.
Hey!
Or commander skin.
Oi!
Are you going to be at Gamescom? I don't believe
Basic
Arena
Desert
is.
setting
Is
for
there at
Gamescom.
Gamescom?
He's diverging. He's like,
No,
not
Germanicus
diverging.
actually.
Seasonal
You can see
cosmetics.
Germanicus really
Well, we love seasonal
He already
cosmetics. You
looks
saw the
like a lot
hats.
like Germanicus,
Everyone
like-
loves the hats.
Can you imagine like Josh in there with his little voice going, "Vengeance!"
Oh, can we modify the width of
Josh,
a formation?
just
Yes,
for-
you can with Alt.
Can you shout vengeance for me, please?
Vengeance!
Do you want the shield and the helmet?
Yeah, let's get the shield and helmet out.
We have 1 minute.
That is more than enough time.
Yes.
I'm happy to stay
We-
here. While we
Producer,
that.
do you have to
happy?
go? Can we get some
Yeah,
extra
right.
minutes in? There we
We're
go.
getting it. Let's do this.
Gosh.
Come on, live a little.
What
Josh.
else? Live a little.
Josh Manicus.
Where's the-
Behind you.
Yeah, man. Do this.
I'm so mic'd up. Ugh.
Just put it in your pocket.
Would this fit over a mic?
Uh,
Yeah, that one.
Oh.
is this like not actually be able to get in camera? You have to do it back there.
No, you can just. If he stays
Yeah.
down and you lean it over him, then
Okay.
he can just sit down on
Yeah.
the couch. We sit on it, like
yeah,
and just
yeah, let's do that.
have him display like that.
I mean, it's higher than his head.
Yeah.
It's
I
not
can-
Or
actually
just
gonna
bend it
fit.
over
I can
and
lean
it's
it.
fine.
Yeah.
Ah.
Don't put it on your knees because it will stain your trousers.
Okay.
Oh, lovely.
Wait, what?
Do I
This
look
is
like a
Josh
Roman?
Manicus.
Do I look like a Roman warrior
Now
now?
shout vengeance.
Vengeance! Vengeance!
Say the enemies of Rome shall know her brutal vengeance.
The enemies of Rome shall know her brutal vengeance.
Shall know her beautiful vengeance. Brutal.
What's another one? Is it Consul of Rome?
I am Germanicus.
I am Germanicus. Oh,
Consul
what?
of Rome.
Consul of
There
Rome.
we go.
What's the Bella one? There's like a Bella one. It's like, let Bologna lead our
yeah,
blades.
let Bologna lead our blades, yeah. Let Bologna lead your blades!
What have I
What's
become?
the one with the lion? Today we live
Oh,
like lion.
that little bit where you're looking down a little bit there, that's got to become a meme. Where it's
Just look at his face.
that feeling when Canan Pikes turns and mows down my Roman legionary.
Oh, meme that. Put his face when you do
Oh,
the.
he's
when you
I
do the
think.
Python.
Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. I think we're gonna get ending it here.
Memes!
They're
all gonna, every single one you make, I will make sure they're on the next one of these. I don't know how, because I have no control over it, but I'll make
We will
sure.
get it there.
We'll be in cahoots with the producer. We'll get them on.
Oh, boy.
We'll manage it.
Okay. Well,
For the glory of Rome.
thank you everyone for coming along. Thank you for submitting. We'll come back, and
Thank
yes,
you.
hopefully we'll do more community stuff next time. Until next time, we'll see you on the battlefield.
See ya.
Bye.